Good day, and greetings from the University of Massachusetts Medical School. I am Jim Healy, today's Master of Ceremonies, and on behalf of the University of Massachusetts Medical School, it is my great honor to welcome you to a most special and timely commencement ceremony for our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences class of 2020. Typically, our commencement exercises are held under a large tent on the campus green. As you well know, these are not typical times. Far from it. Like all of you, we are striving to adapt to this new remote existence. This includes convening for our first ever virtual commencement exercises for the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. It is a novel experience for all of us, and we kindly ask for your understanding and consideration during the next hour. There are, of course, some limitations to this virtual platform, but we will attempt to provide our GSBS graduates with a ceremony worthy of their accomplishments and contributions. To assure that all of you who have joined this ceremony can hear the speakers, we respectfully ask that you mute your audio for the duration of the program, which will begin promptly at noon. Today's ceremony is also being live streamed on the University of Massachusetts Medical School's Facebook page. A recording will be made available to all this afternoon. To all of you watching and listening today, we invite you to follow UMass Medical School on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, to see highlights and to keep up to date on all the advances and news from our faculty, staff, and students. We will begin shortly. it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium Dr. Michael F. Collins, Chancellor of the University of Massachusetts Medical School, who will formally open today's commencement ceremony. Chancellor Collins.
Greetings. I hereby declare the annual commencement exercises of the University of Massachusetts Medical School's Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences officially open. I am pleased to be the first to officially salute the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences class of 2020. On behalf of all of us at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, let me welcome members of our graduates' families and their friends who join us from locations near and far for today's virtual ceremony. We know that you share in our pride as we celebrate the many accomplishments of our graduates. Our graduates have achieved success in large part thanks to the support of their family and friends. Today's celebration is for you as well. I ask all of the members of the class of 2020 to take a moment today to say thank you to those family and friends who supported you throughout this journey. Before we begin today's speaking program, we have a special singing of the national anthem by David Keener, a graduate student in our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The University of Massachusetts Medical School serves proudly as the Commonwealth's first and only public medical school. We are committed in spirit and in action to improving the health and well-being of the people of Massachusetts and the many governmental entities that support the healthcare delivery system and public health across the Commonwealth. We have a long-standing and special partnership with our state government, and as I speak, we have colleagues who are embedded with those state officials charged with organizing a multifaceted response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Together, we will work as best we can with our state leaders to mitigate the spread of the virus and to protect the citizens of Massachusetts. In a powerful demonstration of support for our medical school generally, and our graduates in particular, Governor Baker requested an opportunity to convey his thanks and appreciation to our classes of 2020. He has pre-recorded a video message, which we will play for you now.
Hey everybody, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here. Let me just start by saying congratulations to the graduates. I'm sure this was a graduate season that was quite unlike any you would have ever expected. I've had many conversations with Chancellor Mike Collins and with UMass Memorial President Eric Dixon about the incredibly important role that so many folks at UMass Medical School played in helping us work our way through the surge here in Massachusetts and in Worcester. In many ways, it's probably as close as you'll ever get to a real life, oh my God moment with respect to practicing in medicine, doing research, or participating in the mad dash we've all had to gain information, gain knowledge, and make better decisions on behalf of the people we all serve. But in many ways, I heard over and over again how terrific so many of the folks coming out of UMass were in everything they were asked to do over the course of the past 10 weeks. And it made a huge difference, not just in Worcester, but across the Commonwealth. And you saved lives and helped people find a way back from what we would all agree was just a terrible place. I hope in some ways the rest of your medical career, as you move forward, whether it's in research or in clinical practice, turns out to be a little less hair-raising than this. But I certainly think you should all take great pride in the work you've done, the role you've played, and the support you provided to so many over the course of the past 10 weeks. Congratulations, graduates. You earned it.
UMass Medical School is an integral component of the 5-campus UMass system, which is overseen by an all-volunteer Board of Trustees. I am pleased to invite University trustee and UMass Medical School alumna Dr. Kerry Osterhaus-Houle to bring greetings on behalf of the university's Board of Trustees. Trustee Osterhaus-Houle.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chancellor Collins and Provost Flott. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, it is my honor to be a part of this ceremony, which marks a very special milestone in your lives. As we all hear frequently these days, this is an unprecedented and challenging time. Yet I am struck by the ways in which the entire UMass Medical School community, and especially the faculty and students in our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, have risen to meet the moment. Perhaps especially in the midst of a pandemic, the power of biomedical research comes into very clear focus for many of us. In addition to strong public health initiatives, new scientific knowledge will be the key to leading our state, our country, and the world out of this difficult time. Scientists will develop the most effective and accurate tests. Scientists will be the ones to help us determine if we have immunity or protection from the novel coronavirus. Scientists will be the ones to give us the tools we need to hope that this virus will stop its dangerous spread around the globe. To the graduates, know that you have learned from and with some of the brightest scientific minds in the entire world here at UMass Medical School. Now it is your turn to take the torch of knowledge with you into your own next chapters. The impact you will have in the years to come will expand our understanding of the world around us and how we can best be and stay healthy. As a physician myself, I appreciate how very important that is. We are so proud to know that you will go on to do great things, and we hope that you will always remember fondly your time here at UMass. In closing, on behalf of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees, I would like to extend our gratitude to the leadership of UMass Medical School for their steady hand and aspirational vision. We are truly all fortunate to be part of one of the best schools in the nation. And to today's graduates, congratulations on earning your degree. I wish you the very best as you set forth with new knowledge into this new chapter of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Osterhaus-Houle, for your leadership, your kind words, and for your participation today. The University of Massachusetts and its 5 campuses benefit from the strong leadership of President Marty Meehan, who is an ardent advocate and compelling champion for our medical school. It gives me great pleasure to invite President Meehan to offer congratulatory remarks on behalf of the university. President Meehan?
Thank you, Chancellor Collins, Provost Flott, Dean Lane, and the outstanding faculty and staff of UMass Medical School for your remarkable leadership and commitment during these difficult times. Most of all, to the class of 2020, congratulations on your incredible achievement. Your class will go down in history for having faced unprecedented challenges, for persevering, staying focused, and ultimately achieving your goals. This is the UMass way. You should be proud of yourselves. Your family and friends should be proud. And on behalf of the entire University of Massachusetts system, I am very proud of you and all that you've accomplished. You are graduating from a world-class medical school, ranked among the best medical schools in the country, intently focused on serving the needs of Massachusetts and the region, but with a reputation and impact that is truly global. I like to call UMass Medical School the platinum brand of UMass. So I believe that there are no scientists or researchers who are better equipped to take on the challenges before us. In times like these, it can be difficult to find silver linings, but one I see is that our society is being reminded of the vital importance of scientists and biomedical researchers across this country. In times of uncertainty, we are turning to the physician scientists, public health experts, and research labs for the solutions we need to stay safe. That's why I am especially proud to know that those of you graduating today are joining this very important profession at a time when your hard work, your insights, your passionate search for answers will be needed most. I'm confident you will use the world-class education that you've received and the skills that you've gained at UMass Medical School to make a difference in the fight against COVID-19, and after this crisis has passed, to help to heal our Commonwealth, our nation, and indeed our world. Congratulations to all of you, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, President Meehan, for your support, leadership, and encouragement. To our graduates, please allow me a few moments to share some thoughts with you. On your first days of graduate school, none of us could have imagined how unusual this graduation day would become. Unless one had just finished Albert Camus' The Plague or watched Bill Gates' 2015 Shattuck lecture, thoughts of a pandemic were the furthest thing from your minds those days. Most of you envisioned the lab coats that you would soon wear, the cutting-edge science that you would undertake, the lab teams you would join, and the late nights you would spend along your own pathways to your PhDs. Perhaps some of you even dared to look years ahead to that joyous time when you would triumphantly process onto the campus green together with your fellow classmates and march into a crowded commencement tent, basking in the cheers of family and friends. Oh, how we wish it could be that way today. You deserve such a celebration. You have earned such a celebration. At this moment, the cheers of your dreams, now fulfilled, are deafened by the continued solitude and seriousness that accompany this ongoing pandemic. This moment is both real and surreal. As an academic community, we are gathered, if such a word could be used, in ones and twos, some with families near, others next to provosts and deans, and yet others watching from afar, as the festivity of the moment is silenced into solemnity by an unrelenting virus. This was not how it was meant to be. In 1943, college graduates never saw their commencement stage, as they were hurried off to serve their nation in another global crisis that would test the mettle of individuals, nations, and the world. Never did we think this could happen again. The ruffles and flourishes of commencement dreams are absent. The green is largely empty and still. We are separated from those we love, but our spirit must not be dashed. As members of the UMass Medical School academic community and citizens of the world, this period in human history implores us to focus on what is most important. We have isolated ourselves to combat a virus whose vaccine has yet to be found. We have moved to virtual relationships, virtual lab meetings, and even virtual thesis defenses to deter a disease for which therapeutics are under investigation. We have made sacrifices and continue to make sacrifices to slow the spread of a pathogen that preys on the fragile and vulnerable. Despite the dark clouds that persist, or perhaps because of them, an awakening is taking hold across this nation and around the globe. The world is finally understanding what we have long appreciated, that science and discovery are the catalysts for new knowledge, progress, innovation, and advancement. If the first chapter of this pandemic was the healthcare community's finest hour, the current chapter surely will relate the scientific community's intellect and ingenuity. Rather than shrinking from the daunting challenges brought forth by this pandemic, researchers around the world are responding with collective intellectual force and mobilizing on a massive scale to understand, harness, and eventually eliminate the threat of COVID-19. Guided by courage, conviction, collaboration, and compassion, this awe-inspiring global effort, comprised of a constellation of scientists and research labs, is bolstering hope when we need it most. Indeed, scientific ingenuity is slowly breaking apart the storm clouds above. We are feeling these rays of hope on our campus, and especially within the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Since the early days of the pandemic, 19 of our most productive labs have been fully operational, accelerating promising COVID-19 research programs, conducting life-saving clinical trials, and leveraging complementary expertise wherever and whenever needed. The spirit of collaboration and generosity of spirit that are the hallmark of the GSBS learning environment now also characterize the global race to find vaccines and therapeutics that will save lives and livelihoods. You see, this is science's moment. And much like the days written about by Camus, you are the young scientists of this day. You are of keen intellect and well prepared, having been expertly stewarded in your education by our world-class faculty. I know you will not be daunted by nor shrink from your responsibility to apply the tremendous education you have received to the world's most vexing problems, beginning with the urgencies of the SARS-CoV-19 virus. My confidence in you, in your compassion, and in your scientific abilities both reflects and confirms my confidence in our faculty, the stewards of your GSBS education. During the trying and triumphant moments of your career, please know of the enduring pride the University of Massachusetts Medical School shall have in calling you one of our own. Congratulations and Godspeed along your professional journey.
Good afternoon. Please let me add my welcome and congratulations to you, the family, friends, and members of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences class of 2020. My name is Terry Flott, and I have the honor of serving as your provost. In this role, I have the privilege to oversee the academic programs of UMass Medical School, including the faculty and the students. The Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, in many ways, is unique among the students and faculty of our university, in that your degrees are project-driven, thesis-driven, over many years, often taking twists and turns without definite endpoints in sight. So celebrating your achievements today is a particularly poignant moment for all of us who are involved in your education. We live in a political world today where there is so much media hype, so much social media, so much spinning of news and opinions that at times there seems to be a denial of the very existence of an objective, observable, testable reality. A belief in the existence of that objective reality is the very essence of science. Yet, if we ever needed a reminder that objective reality does matter, the COVID-19 pandemic has emphatically proven that. It has struck people across the world, heedless of any national or political boundaries. And humanity seems to be beginning to realize that we ignore the science of this pandemic at our own very real peril. Yet, with every challenge, there is an opportunity. As biomedical scientists, you have chosen the pursuit of science as the focus of your career, and moreover, the pursuit of biomedical sciences as your area of focus. Thus, in an important way, you are part of our response to the pandemic. For some of you, this may be very direct, but for others who are not working on viruses or coronaviruses or COVID-19 directly, you are nonetheless contributing to the effort by upholding the central tenet of research, pursuing facts, the evidence that underlie natural phenomena, and faithfully reporting those facts with no bias toward the implications. I have been impressed and astounded, really, by the ways in which you, the graduating GSBS students, have stepped up during this crisis to complete your defenses and dissertation documents. During this pandemic, we need biomedical scientists like never before in our history. We need research to find answers, to develop questions, and to translate that knowledge into the language of cures. This is the core of what biomedical scientists do, and with your help and leadership, will continue to do. So the only thing I can really add is to say thank you. Thank you for choosing this most noble pursuit. Thank you for pursuing this stage of your formation here with us at UMass Medical School. Congratulations to all of you, and with my own best wishes. And now I'll turn to Chancellor Collins, who will present the Chancellor's Award.
Each year, I have the privilege to present the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences Chancellor's Award, the highest award bestowed annually on a member of the graduating class. This year, it gives me great pleasure to announce Dr. Ashley Matthew, a graduate of our MD-PhD program, as the recipient of the 2020 Chancellor's Award. Dr. Matthew conducted her research in the lab of Dr. Celia Schiffer, Professor of Biochemistry and Molecular Pharmacology. Her thesis title was Targeting Drug Resistance in HCV NS3-4A Protease, Mechanisms and Inhibitor Design Strategies. And her research focused on elucidating the molecular basis of drug resistance and design potentially better hepatitis C drugs. While in Dr. Schiffer's laboratory for only 3.5 years, Dr. Matthews' excellence in research was often recognized by the scientific community. She was awarded the prestigious NIH F31 Fellowship for Underrepresented Minorities, where her application scored a near-perfect 15, or the 5th percentile. In November of 2019, she was inducted in the Alpha Omega Alpha Medical Honor Society, and on March 31st, she received the School of Medicine's Chancellor's Award. She is now the first graduate ever to receive the Chancellor's Award from 2 of our schools. Dr. Matthew exemplifies the type of physician-scientist of tomorrow, the type our society needs, and this recognition further underscores her incredible potential and trajectory. Congratulations, Dr. Matthew. We look forward to following and taking great pride in all that you will accomplish during your career. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce another leader of our educational community, Dr. Mary Ellen Lane, Dean of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Dean Lane.
Thank you, Chancellor Collins. It is my honor to present the GSBS Student Academic Achievement Awards for 2020. The Student Award for Outstanding Mentoring in the Classroom and Research Setting. This year, the award goes to 2 students who have been nominated by their peers and selected by the Awards and Recognition Committee as outstanding student mentors in the classroom and research setting. They are Victoria Julian and Erica Mondo. Victoria, your talent as a patient mentor, invested in the education of your fellow students, has been recognized by the many students who've had the privilege of working with you in the lab. Erica, your leadership and mentoring of many lab members and your gift for teaching and advising have been recognized by your mentor and by students in your laboratory and program. Congratulations. The Student Award for Community Service. Each year, our students work quietly behind the scenes to serve the community in many different ways. This year, we'd like to recognize the gift of time, talent, and effort given by Brent Horowitz and Melanie Walker. Brent and Melanie, your collaborative service to the University of Massachusetts Medical School community and to the greater Worcester area, and your leadership in providing service and outreach opportunities for your fellow students reflects well on our school and is greatly appreciated. Congratulations. The Dean's Award for the Most Outstanding Mid-Thesis Research. This award is given to a student who is still engaged in thesis research, but whose research findings, in the judgment of the faculty, have great impact on their field. This year, 2 students have been chosen to receive this award. Chantal Ferguson from Anastasia Kavoreva's lab. Her thesis title is ApoE RNAi Modulation, Novel Strategy for Treatment of Alzheimer's Disease. Chantal, your very productive, collaborative, and celebrated work has great potential to lead to a transformative treatment for patients with Alzheimer's disease. And your recent work in developing COVID therapeutics and in volunteering in the DCU Field Hospital show your dedication to science and to patients. Congratulations. Kevin Gao from Ann Rothstein and Kate Fitzgerald's lab. Kevin's thesis title, Perturbing Nucleic Acid Sensing in Murine Models to Identify Novel Mechanisms of Autoimmunity and Autoinflammation. Kevin, your enthusiasm for science, your creativity and work ethic, and your agility in always working at the cutting edge have led you to important and original work understanding hereditary autoimmune diseases and may help us to understand the cytokine storm that so many COVID-19 patients are experiencing. Congratulations. I'll now present the Dean's Award for the Most Outstanding Doctoral Thesis Research. The Dean's Award for the Most Outstanding Doctoral Thesis Research is given to 2 students who are graduating this year and whose research in the eyes of the faculty profoundly impact their field. Mona Motwani from Kate Fitzgerald and Ann Rothstein's lab. Her thesis title, Cytosolic DNA Sensing in Autoimmune and Autoinflammatory Diseases. Mona, you are a broadly knowledgeable and productive scientist who has gracefully overcome the challenges that go along with doing highly visible and impactful work. Your 7 co-authored papers have established you as a leader in the development of animal models for not 1, but 2 debilitating autoimmune diseases, lupus and SAVI. Your enthusiastic embrace of the hardest, most challenging experimental approaches, your collaborative spirit, and your many creative insights have earned you the deepest respect of your colleagues and mentors. Congratulations. Pranitha Vangala from Manuel Garber's lab. Her thesis title is The Role of Cis-Regulatory Elements in Transcriptional Regulation, from Evolution to 4D Interactions. Pranitha, you are an intellectually gifted scientist whose curiosity drives you toward relentless pursuit of fundamental and impactful questions. Your ambitious goal of understanding the dynamic transcriptional landscape of the innate immune response has led to new insights that are very relevant today. You are not defined by a subset of skills, but rather by your boldness in applying and developing all the tools necessary to do transformational science. Congratulations. Graduates, It is my honor to extend my congratulations to you today and to leave you with a few words as you enter the next chapter of your lives. Commencement means beginning, and while we recognize and celebrate your past accomplishments, commencement ceremonies and commencement addresses are customarily oriented toward the future. The future is always uncertain. We cannot know what will happen in our lives, what challenges, hardships, or losses will disrupt our plans. But now we're living through a massive and shared disruption. And rather than the usual vague worries and fears about the future, we actually have visible, specific unexpected challenges with real probabilities of creating personal hardship and loss for each one of us. So looking forward and celebrating the future with a sense of hope and possibility is asking a lot right now. I think for many, the defining feeling when we look to the future is grief. Grief over the loss of the future that we had imagined for ourselves as recently as March, and grief for anticipation of loss and hardship in the very different future that we may be imagining right now. We are scientists. We love information. We seek it out. We know where to find it. We make observations, we evaluate, and we draw conclusions. One of the objectives of doctoral education is to develop the capacity to organize the information that we can see and observe and construct models to explain what we can't observe. For the past few months, there's been no shortage of information about how truly dire the current situation is and what that might mean for us in the future. But I want to remind you that both the future that you had imagined for yourselves back at the beginning of the year and the future that you imagine for yourself right now are both models. They're not facts. And another objective of doctoral education is the ability to recognize the difference between facts and models. As scientists, we know that our models are only as good as the information we use to construct them. Our models become stronger when we have more information, when we make new connections, and when they have survived a few tests. And any good scientist knows that sometimes our models are wrong and have to be modified to account for new information. And we know that when we become emotionally invested in our models, we are unable and unwilling to see the evidence that they need to be revised. And we've all experienced being so invested in our models that we're paralyzed, afraid of the next step or the new information that might disrupt the model. A model that you're afraid to challenge won't serve you well. And we can't give in to grief over the past or fear about the future by refusing to see the present and take appropriate action. Over the last 10 weeks, many of us who have had to confront our own feeling of helplessness as our colleagues in the School of Medicine and the Graduate School of Nursing met the moment head-on as caretakers, easing human suffering and containing the spread of the virus. And we felt a little envy as some of our scientist colleagues pivoted swiftly and gracefully to refocus their research programs toward understanding the viral and host biology, addressing healthcare inequities, and designing preventative strategies and therapeutic treatments. We may have even questioned the value of our own life's work if it wasn't directed toward addressing this catastrophic event. But that's also a flawed model, because we're still learning about this virus and how to overcome its destructive power, so we can't possibly conclude that nothing any of us have ever done or ever will do in science won't have made a contribution. But it's also flawed in that it defines contribution too narrowly. While many of us may never have a direct role in neutralizing coronavirus or treating COVID-19 patients, or ensuring that care and treatment are distributed equitably, we all have a role to play in holding ourselves, our families, and our communities together as we face this uncertain future, in pushing through paralyzing grief and fear to figure out how to do things that we never thought could be done. Right now, the most powerful words anyone can say are, yes, I can operate differently. I can solve problems. I can take on additional responsibilities. I can work at home while taking care of my family. I can defend my dissertation from my living room. And I can integrate this new reality into my plans for the future. The future belongs to those who can see reality as it unfolds for us in the present and adapt. That doesn't always mean we have to change our career or change our research, but it does mean we might have to change our model. Congratulations. Each year, the graduating class nominates a speaker to represent them and deliver remarks for the occasion. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Pranitha Vangala, this year's speaker.
Good morning, faculty, distinguished guests, and fellow students. First and foremost, congratulations. Milestones of great magnitude are always worth celebrating, regardless of the circumstances. PhD is seemingly never-ending. When it ends, it's emotional. When the graduation timelines were mentioned in our orientation, we couldn't help but think of how much work we have ahead of us before we actually graduate. It almost felt like an eternity between now and then. Being conferred with doctoral degree and getting the doctoral title at the graduation ceremony offers an acknowledgement and closure I felt I was missing. It is the last milestone of this long journey, the one at the end of this road and the beginning of the next. I thought it is a great reason to procure regalia, toader bonnet, the age-old symbols of doctorate and scholarship. Altogether, it's quite an ensemble. I wanted to rock those robes, not just with saucy red lipstick, but in terms of owing the achievement and becoming the doctoral identity all during the graduation ceremony that usually happens in our green lawn on campus, in front of friends, family, proudly applauding our achievements. I wanted to take pride in walking across the stage and being hooded by Manuel while my baby wiggled inside me as a symbol of joy. I believe every one of us has a similar emotion. It is disheartening to realize that this dream of ours to walk across the stage remains a dream forever. However, as I was sobbing for weeks, it occurred to me that PhD is not a journey of just 2 milestones. It's an assimilation of many. It is not just about getting admitted into graduate school and graduating. There are several intermediate steps which we all cross successfully. All the successful experiments we did, all the papers we published, all the talks we gave, left us with similar excitement to when our dissertation committee said, "You pass, doctor." I definitely had many moments of screaming and joy. Recollecting those moments helped me accept the sudden change to my lifelong dream. All these seems to be a sudden change that we cannot assimilate. Changes do occur throughout our life, and we adapt to them, don't we? We pause and we think. As we think, we as a scientist are trained to be resilient. Over the past 5, 6, 7, or whatever number of years, think about how many times we had to accept that our favorite hypothesis is wrong, or the right experiment to do is not possible due to technical difficulties, or even the times when we hit dead ends. We didn't give up. We took a detour, and we did the right thing to move our science forward. We made up our mind, changed our approaches dramatically, and I think the same applies to the present situation. We are allowed to be upset and disappointed, but these emotions will get better when we put in perspective the sacrifices our friends and colleagues are making in the COVID-19 field hospitals. I'm confident we will be responsible, lift our spirits and of our friends and families, and one day be the subjects of case studies on how to successfully deal with a pandemic. And of course, we will be remembered by the UMass community as a class who graduated amidst of a pandemic for years to come.
We have now come to a most important part of today's ceremony, the conferral of degrees for the graduates of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. As delegated by University President Marty Meehan and the UMass Board of Trustees, Chancellor Collins will confer the degrees. For this purpose, I am pleased to welcome
Doctor of Philosophy degrees in Biomedical Sciences. The names will be read by Dr. Kendall Knight.
Masters of Science in Clinical Investigation degrees are awarded to Neeli Amir, Frequency of Complications Following Spinal Fusion in Children with Cerebral Palsy. Shushmita Hawk, Barriers and Facilitators to the Real-World Implementation of School-Supervised Asthma Therapy, School Nurse Perspectives. Abraham Lin, Perceived Efficacy in Patient-Physician Interactions Among Older Adults with Atrial Fibrillation. Robert James McLaughlin, Healthcare Disparities and Noncompliance in Children and Young Adults with Crohn's Disease. Doctor of Philosophy degrees are awarded to Dr. Spencer Todd Adams, Jr., Deconstructing Bioluminescence from Molecular Detail to In Vivo Imaging. Dr. Shweli Agarwal, Identification and Characterization of Novel Non-Coding Regulators of Innate Immune Responses in Human Cells. Dr. Matthew James Alkuski, Anticoagulant Use, Safety, and Effectiveness for Ischemic Stroke Prevention in Nursing Home Residents with Atrial Fibrillation. Dr. Aditya Shatan Bandekar, Transcription and the Mycobacterial Cell Cycle, How Gene Expression Predicts Function in Mycobacterium Tuberculosis. Dr. Michelle M. Bellarose, Genetic Identification of Novel Mycobacterium Tuberculosis Susceptibility and Survival Mechanisms During Antibiotic Treatment. Dr. Xinyang Bing, Mechanistic Basis for Control of Early Embryonic Development by a 5' tRNA Fragment. Dr. Aijan Bijanova, Characterization of Nucleolus-Associated Domains in Mouse Embryonic Stem Cells. Dr. Aolong Chan, The Plasticity and Variation in Gene Expression During Development in C. elegans. Dr. Siju Chen, The snakeskin mesh complex of smooth septate junction restricts Yorkie to regulate intestinal homeostasis in Drosophila. Dr. Noah Robert Cohen, Exploring the complex folding free energy landscapes of a series of beta-rich proteins. Dr. Jean-Sue Jolpan, Understanding the Production and Stability of Mouse Pee-wee Interacting RNAs. Dr. Stephen Randall de Groot, The Role of Meso-interpeduncular Circuitry in Anxiety. Dr. Livio Ducage, Modulating MCM levels causes differential loading at origins of replication and changes replication timing. Dr. Hassan Fouezi, Using Healthcare Data to Inform Health Policy, Quantifying Cardiovascular Disease Risk and Assessing 30-Day Readmission Measures. Dr. Xin Daniel Gao, Combining CRISPR-Cas9 and proximity labeling to illuminate chromatin composition, organization, and regulation. Dr. Janelle Anna Hayes, The Mechanism and Regulation of Bacteriophage DNA Packaging Motors. Dr. Shurong Ho, Structural Mechanism of Substrate Specificity in Human Cytidine Deaminase Family ApoBec3s. Dr. Huang Wang, The Role of S-phase Speed During an Erythroid Transcriptional Switch. Dr. Larissa Kamga, Conserved features of the T-cell receptor repertoire contribute to the persistence of EBV-specific CD8 T cells. Dr. Zachary Corkin Kennedy, Optimizing CRISPR-Cas9 for gene silencing of SOD1 in mouse models of ALS. Dr. Carrie Ann Kovalak, Deep sequencing of pre-translational mRNPs reveals hidden flux through evolutionarily conserved AS-NMD pathways. Dr. Gordon Joseph Lockbaum, molecular mechanisms of resistance and structure-based drug design in homodimeric viral proteases. Dr. Mona Motwani, cytosolic DNA sensing in autoimmune and autoinflammatory diseases. Dr. Rebecca Lee Riding, the role of type 1 interferon in vitiligo pathogenesis and melanoma immunotherapy. Dr. Raziel Rojas Rodriguez, adaptations of adipose tissue expandability in gestation are associated with maternal glucose metabolism. Dr. Harleen Sani, intron and small RNA localization in mammalian neurons. Dr. Kylene Souza Simon, structural and biochemical studies of membrane proteins CFTR and GLUT1 yield new insights into the molecular basis of cystic fibrosis and biology of glucose transport. Dr. Meera Sridhara, a mixed method study of local policy, systems, and environmental approaches supportive of healthy eating and physical activity. Dr. William Joseph Stanny III, the tail factors and nuclear factor Y cooperate to drive transcription at zygotic genome activation. Dr. Nicholas Paul Stone, elucidating the structural mechanisms of capsid stability and assembly using a hypothermophilic bacteriophage. Dr. Rutapak Sutiwisetsa, natural polymorphisms of Mycobacterium tuberculosis and CD8 T-cell immunity. Dr. Salih Topol, chromatin dynamics regulate transcriptional homeostasis. Dr. Pranitha Vangala, role of cis-regulatory elements in transcriptional regulation, from evolution to 4D interactions. Dr. Jen Zhang, TREX function in piRNA biogenesis and transposon silencing. Today, we also have the honor of awarding Doctor of Philosophy degrees to 7 students who have completed the requirements for the combined MD-PhD degree. They received their MD degree at a previous ceremony. Doctor of Philosophy degrees are awarded today to Dr. Allison Patrice Casserly, integrated analysis of microRNA, mRNA expression in the neurocircuitry underlying nicotine dependence. Dr. Timothy Han Chang, Maelstrom represses canonical RNA polymerase II transcription in Drosophila dual-strand piRNA clusters. Dr. Nicholas John Hathaway, a suite of computational tools to interrogate sequence data with local haplotype analysis within complex plasmodium infections and other microbial mixtures. Dr. Peter Lin Lee, adipocyte mTORC1 signaling separately regulates metabolic homeostasis and adipose tissue mass, independent of RAG GTPase activity. Dr. Patrick Paul Lowe, inebriated immunity. Alcohol affects innate immune signaling in the gut-liver-brain axis. Dr. Ashley Nicole Matthew, targeting drug resistance in HCV NS3-4A protease, mechanisms and inhibitor design strategies. And Dr. Jason D. Yang, antigen-specific CD4+ and CD8+ T-cell recognition during Mycobacterium tuberculosis infection.
Will the candidates please rise? By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon each of you the degree recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. In accordance with usual custom, you as individuals are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to these degrees here and elsewhere. Congratulations to all of you in the class of 2020 on this outstanding achievement. To all of you observing this ceremony today, please join Provost Flott, Dean Lane, and me in a virtual applause for the graduates of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences.
We're going to show everyone. When they come to me, come on, Ogie. Yeah, bring more.
Hi. I'd like to give a big congratulations to the 2020 GSBS class. In particular, I'd like to give a shout out to Janelle Hayes and Nick Stone, two students who were with me from the beginning of the Couch Lab. Cheers!
My sincere congratulations to all of our graduates. I look forward to celebrating with you on May 31st.
Congratulations, GSBS graduates. It's been great getting to know you over the years, and I'm really excited about the unique ways that each one of you will be contributing to science, health, medicine, and society as you move forward in your life and careers. Don't be strangers. You'll always be part of the UMass Medical School community, so we look forward to engaging with you in many different ways in the future.
Congrats, Sushi, on your Master's in Clinical Investigation.
And congrats to all the other UMass GSBS grads.
Yay!
Congratulations, Ashley, on graduating UMass with your MD PhD. I'm so proud of you. I know you'll do great things at VCU in residency. Continue to be amazing. Show off your Black girl magic, and I'll always be there for you. Love you, Jerry.
Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Especially to our newly minted MD PhD, Ashley Mackey. We love you.
Woo!
Congrats, class of 2020. I want to give a special shout out to my fellow MD PhD graduates and also to my TD research family, Adi, Michelle, and Pat, for crossing the finish line. Hope you guys all get to enjoy this special day.
Hi, class of 2020. As our student government leaders, we wanted to wish you guys a warm and happy commencement. So on behalf of everyone, congratulations.
Hey, class of 2020. It's been a great privilege getting to know you. You did it. Congratulations.
Did you help?
Yay! Congratulations to all the 2020 graduates.
Congratulations, Ashley, Sharang, and Gordy. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm really have been honored to be your mentor over all these years, and I can't wait to watch you fly. Congratulations to the entire GSBS class. Enjoy and go for it.
We've been with you along the way. You've made it to the end of May.
And now we're here, so glad to say,
Happy Graduation Day!
Congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2020. Very proud.
Congratulations.
Congrats, class of 20. Yep, congrats. Woohoo, congratulations. 2020.
To all of the 2020 graduates, congratulations and good luck.
Congratulations, class of 2020. You worked hard, and I'm glad to celebrate your success. You have earned it.
Your skills, your insight, your passion are needed now more than ever. We are in good hands with UMass MedGrads.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. The months ahead will be difficult for all of us, but we need you desperately, not only as researchers, but as leaders, teachers, pioneers, and advocates. Congratulations, stay safe, and thank you for all you have done and will do to keep our country safe and healthy.
Congratulations. We're proud to refer to you as one of our own. Now, I hereby declare the annual commencement exercises of the University of Massachusetts Medical School's Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences closed.
As the Chancellor just stated, our 2020 Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences virtual commencement ceremony has officially concluded. This brings an end to our ceremony, and momentarily we will deactivate the Zoom session. Thank you for joining us for this very special occasion, marking a momentous milestone in the lives of our graduates. We hope that you stay well and healthy. Good day, and God bless you all.